What's up, guys? Welcome back. It is Grandpa Jack from the DFS Dojo. Hope everyone's had a fantastic baseball season and NFL season up to this point. But our bread and butter's back. We're back on Linestar to attack the NBA slate. With that being said, I'm going to give you the rundown, give you everything you need to know so you can take down all the tournaments your heart pleases. With the DFS Dojo, Vertical, Swid, everybody in there's picks, a daily core for the NBA slate, and then utilizing the tools such as Linestar. Easy money. So let's hop right into it. Alright, say you're a brand new user. That's what this tutorial is going to be for you. Got a lot you're looking at here. We're on the Fanduel side of the NBA slate for Tuesday. We're going to start by just checking everything out, seeing what we got going down the line. First thing you'll notice is you got FanDuel right here. You can swap that to DraftKings or Yahoo if you play there. You have the main slate. When you have different slates, there'll be other ones on here. If you don't want to play the main, then you have the date. And then up here at the top, you'll have the games listed. And my kitty wants to come say hi. Get down, buddy. You'll have the games listed for that afternoon. So for Tuesday, we got the Lakers taking on the Nuggets first, and then we got the Suns going to play the Golden State Warriors. With that being said, we'll move down here. We have the projections tab. That's what we're on right now. That'll be the main tab for us. But there's so many useful tools up here to use. We have the updates tab here. It'll tell you when a projection has been changed for a player. Sometimes it'll tell you why. Like, we know Jared Vanderbilt's been ruled out. We haven't got an official update, but Taurean Prince is probably going to be starting in his place. So with him ruled out, his projections plummeted to 0. When a player's ruled out, they will set the projection at 0. That ensures that you have up-to-date news, and you're not rostering a player that's not even going to play. And then I suspect Taurean Prince will probably be starting as well, in my opinion. So they boosted his numbers up. Next tab over, we got percentage owned tab. Now, if you play major tournaments, if you play any FanDuel whatsoever, you're going to want to take a look at ownership. And they have it right here for you. And you can usually change this if there's more slates than a main going on. But for this first one, it's the main. They give you a cool little pie chart here you can go through and look. Or if you like the list view, just go down it. Like right now, looks like the Come God, he's going to be the highest owned player. Probably a total fade for me, to be honest. But, I mean, with no Draymond, he's pulling ownership. So that tells me if he's going to be 57% owned, I'm probably going to fade him just because he's not good at basketball. Then we can hop over to a tool I don't see utilized near enough, and that's the salary composition tool. It will take a player's salary, say Grayson Allen here, and it will see how their prices are mismatched on the different sites, such as Fanduel and DraftKings. So if we look at Grayson Allen here, he's 4,200 on Fanduel, but 4,900 on DraftKings. It's a great way to find sneaky picks for you. If you look at the flip side, we can see Chris Paul over here is 8,000 on FanDuel, but only 5,600 on DraftKings. That's a huge value over on DK from FanDuel. Then the next tab we got, we're not going to have anything here, but this is the salary change. It will show you whose salary has increased or decreased from the previous slate. So after Tuesday, we'll start having information in these tabs. And for me, the way I utilize this is seeing guys who are trending up. It's like watching the stock market, right? Or guys who are trending down. Because if their price is decreasing, then they're not doing well. And on the flip side, if their price is going up, they're probably doing well. Helps me find guys to look into. Then we got the perfect lineup tab. It will tell you the previous slate's perfect lineup. Looks like they still have the finals lineup here. That was the perfect for the showdown. So Joker, Bam, Lowry, Porter, KCP. That would have been your perfect lineup you could have rostered for the finals game. I'm going to have nothing here, but we're going to have a live scoring tab here. You can keep up with your players if you want to do that. It's not something I utilize because I'm usually busy after lock. Props AI, tool that I've really got into using, moving to a state where I can bet now. It will help you find the best bets you can find for Underdog, Prize Picks, DraftKings, and all of these other sites, Fanduel, Caesars, BetMGM, PointsBet, you name it. Great asset to have. This video is focused on DFS purposes, so we're not going to dive into it. I could do a whole video on this itself. It made me a lot of money. The usage matrix. Huge tool for NBA. The name of the game in NBA is usage. How much are you going to have the ball in your hands and do something with it? My computer's acting a little slow right now. Sorry about that. But the name of the game in the NBA is usage. You want those players that are doing things. There's no data here because we haven't had a game yet. But you can sort team by team and look at each player and what their usage is. And on top of that, you can filter. Let's say the Hawks. You can filter with, I don't know, Trey off the floor. You can filter with pretty much anything you want. You could say DeJounte Murray is not playing tonight, and that will show you estimated usage rates with him off the floor. Great tool to have. Then we move over here to our matchups tab. I don't know why my computer is being so slow, but it's just what it says it is. It will help you find those matchups that you're looking for. Let's say you're really interested in Joker, but you don't know how he's going to play against AD. The matchups tab will help you with that. It will tell you how the Lakers rate defensively down low, how they rate defensively on the perimeter, what Joker's matchup with is, who he's going to, have guarding him most of the game, how he matches up against them. It's a wonderful tool. And my computer is still being slow. I apologize, guys. I'm trying to get through this as quick as I can for y'all. Alright, guys, we are back. I had to pause the video and figure that out. Well, here we are in the matchups tab, and like I said, it's got everything you could want. A lot of data for you to filter through, and it's really learn on your own pace when it comes to it. But just offhand, you can look here and see Jamal Murray. He matches up great against the Lakers. Of course, we are going on last year's data, but the Lakers have largely, the same as far as their points go. Lakers suck versus guards, point blank. And, the data here shows it. It shows his last games against them. Ton of useful information. You can sort by fantasy point per minute. Looks like Kevin Looney's got a great matchup against Phoenix. Of course, they do have a different center there now, so, you got to pick and choose what data you're going to really consume and take to heart. Then you got the starting lineups. These things are changed as soon as news breaks. Linestar is great about getting them updated. I mean, if we look over here, we got the Golden State Warriors expected starting lineup. Already got Looney in there for, Donkey. But got Taurean Prince in there already. Great tool to utilize here. Usually what I check if I'm not checking Underdog. Then you got your news articles. It's just what it says. Any kind of important news, it'll be listed here. They update it. I think it's automatically updated, honestly. They pull from a bunch of different sites. Looks like Roto Baller's one of them that they've really been getting a lot of articles from right now. And then your last tab's your articles tab. And it covers all sports, but it's daily picks, YouTube videos, news write-ups, super helpful stuff. But let's get back into the meat and bones of it. It's how to filter through these projections and use the optimizer. So at the top here, I forgot, we have the NBA chat. I personally go through this every day because there's some real sharks in here who drop some insane tips. And you can also look, you can upvote or downvote something if you think it's good information or bad information. It's very, very helpful. Definitely worth coming through. And it will even tell you the people who commented what site that they're using, Fanduel or DraftKings. That way, you can, let's say a guy says Steph Curry's a good play tomorrow, but he's on DK and you play on Fanduel, you can make your own decision about whether you want to follow that advice or not. And going on to the chat, you can chat about individual players. Like someone here has chatted about Joker. Well, that just pulled up everything. But it'll tell you how many people have chatted about it. Moving down here, though, you have all your positions you can sort by. So if I only wanted to look at points, I can. And I'm still on DK. Let me swap back to FanDuel. There we go. But you can sort by position. Easy enough to do. You can sort by teams. Or you can even sort by salary. So this is another one I utilize a lot. Let's say I'm getting down to the last, I got to fit a last guy in. I only have 5,600 salary. I can just move that down and sort and look at who my options are for that. And then just take that filter off. And going across the top here, you can sort by value. Just click on them. You can sort by who has the highest salary, what Linestar's projections are for them. And just an amazing thing they let you do here is you can move these projections to whatever you think. So if I don't agree with 55 and I think he's going to score 60, I can move it up. I can manually type it in. Or you can even import your own projections into Linestar if that's something that you use. Or if you maybe like Linestar's layout and their optimizer better, but you get your projections from some other site, you can import those in here. You have the consensus projection. It's just an aggregate of multiple different sites' projections for them. So, not one I use a lot, but I can see why it would be useful for some people. You have the start times, who they're playing, their defensive ranking versus the position that player plays. So, Joker, see, last year, the Lakers are 25th against centers. Hey, that's a good matchup in my book. Then you have the minimum expected floor. So if you're a cash game player, you probably know about the floor. That's what the minimum projection you expect from them. And then you have your ceiling, which if you're a GPP player, you probably know what ceiling is and you're shooting for it. That's what they think the maximum that player will score is. And then their alert score is, trying to think of how to describe it. It's just a star rating on how well they think that player's value is. Good tool to look at. Their average fantasy points for the season, the implied points for that game, and then you have your matchup data. So you can look at their last 5 games, their last 20 games, the defenses versus that position over the last 20 games, the defense overall over the last 20 games, the game information, which gives you implied points, average difference, team pace, which is huge in NBA, opponent's pace, the pace difference, how many projected minutes that player is going to get. It just goes on and on and on with the value you get from a Linestar subscription. You get the projected ownership here. They're thinking on FanDuel, Joker's going to be 33% owned. They give you a leverage score. That's pretty much a score of how different you're going to be from the field if you roster him. And then a safety score. Is this player safe? You know, if you play a GPP, sometimes you have those home run hitters that strike out. But sometimes they hit a home run. So, you know, if you're a GPP player, I don't look at the safety score. I look at who I think is going to hit those home runs. But if you're a cash game player, hey, you're gonna look for a high safety score. Now we move on over here to the optimizer. And boy, there's a lot to unpack here. So we go to our settings. Got your lineup count. How many you want to make. I always make 150. Then I manually look through them and pick the ones I want to use. Max exposure. It's how much of a player do you want in your lineups. That does not include players that you lock, which we will talk about soon. You can filter by projected ownership range. If I didn't want a player that's going to be higher than 30% owned, I could set that right there. You can like players in Linestar by clicking the little like here, and that will boost them in your optimizer. And you can choose whether they can exceed your max exposure or not by clicking this link. Then you can choose how much that boost will be for them. The default's 15. I personally play with it slate by slate. It depends on how big the slate is, how small it is, who I like, how much I like them. You can use the consensus projection. You can always use the adjusted projection if you wanted. Exclude injured players. You don't want injured players in your lineup, tap that. I don't use that a ton, but I also sift through all of my lineups. So I know when they're out, but that could be a great option for someone that may not have the time for that. Max players per team. You know, this is another one I change a lot depending on how big the slate is. Normally, I don't want more than 2 players per team, but on a slate like this, I'm going to bump that up to 3, maybe even 4, because it's a small slate. You can use the starters only. FanSense is how many times these players have been liked by other Linestar users. You can click that to use the top 10 most liked players on here as if you liked them. Or you can exclude them if you don't want to go with what everyone else is going for. You can set a minimum salary threshold of variance that will vary your optimized lineups from the others. A minimum and maximum budget to use. So user friendly. Then we move over to how do we want the optimizer to pick these players. Do you want them just to pick the highest projected lineup they can? It'll do it. Do you want a GPP lineup? It will look for higher leverage players with higher ceilings. What that means? High risk, high reward. May hit a home run, may strike out, but if it hits that home run, it's good enough to take down a GPP most of the time. Double ups is just what it is. It's safer players for those guys who like to play double ups. Daily matchup, one I use quite a bit. I feel like it's overlooked by a lot of players, but it will take the data from their daily matchup page and roster you players who have the most favorable matchups. Like I'm sure if I optimized with the daily matchup tab selected, I would get a lot of Jamal Murray because he's facing the 30th ranked Lakers guards. I mean, it just pulls that data, does such a great job. Predictable and consistent, just what it says. Great for double ups, cash plays, high ceilings. It's kind of the same as tournament GPPs. I love using it quite a bit. High floors, great for GPPs and double ups, really. You know, it looks for those safe players that you know aren't just going to bomb on you. Stars and scrubs, a lot of people going to be rocking this one for the opening night games. You know, it's going to try to roster you those home run hitters, those superstars such as Joker, LeBron, Steph, and then it's going to try to fill out the rest of the lineup with some lower price guys that it thinks it can get you value from. And then you have your points per game, which is just what it says. It just goes by the average points they score per game, and then a random option. So, like I said, I like to use high ceiling tournament double ups. We'll just rock a tournament right now. And then you can select, if I didn't want any Golden State players, I could take Golden State off here. It won't roster any of them. Then it's got my liked players and team stacks. Not something you use a lot in the NBA, but if you wanted to, you could here. Something you'll have to play with. And then you just click optimize. It's really that easy, guys. Look, here's our first lineup. It spit us out. Looney, Gordon, Prince, Reeves, Wiggins, Thompson, Booker, D'Lo, Jamal Murray. But let's say I didn't want Austin Reeves in this lineup. I can just click his name, then click fade, and run it again. It's that easy. It is that easy. Look here, we got another lineup, totally different one. Still projected 275. This one was projected 277. And then outside of that, see, we're getting a lot of Kevin Looney because he's a great value. But let's say I don't want Kevin Looney. Um, let's say I really like Joker. I'm gonna lock Joker in. That's all you got to do. Inside his name, hit that little lock button, and he is locked in. Now let's go over to point guard. Let's say I really like Chris Paul. Oh, I don't really like Chris Paul. Let's say I really like D'Lo. Lock him in. And then at the 3, let's say I really like Andrew Wiggins. He's locked in. So now I have 3 players locked in. All I got to do is click optimize, and it will fill the rest of that lineup up for me. And here we go. Here's the first lineup, the second lineup. And, you can just make one lineup if you want. See, I got it set at 150. Or you can do like me and do however many you want. I always do 150, then I sort through them. It's just how I like to do it. Such a great tool. You can sort it as well. You can merge it with another one that you've ran. You can delete it if you don't want it. Swaptimize. That's a new feature. It will re-optimize your lineup in a later time, say after games have started. That way you can have players from later in there and swap them out. Such a brilliant tool. It really is. Love it. I cannot brag on Linestar enough. Guys, that's the meat and potatoes of it. Get in here, play around with it. I promise you're going to love it. I know the Dojo family loves it. And, guys, you can always reach me on Twitter. Holy Jack, that's me. You can always reach me in the Dojo Discord. Will be linked down below. The greatest place for DFS content. I can't say thank you guys enough. And if you have any questions whatsoever, reach out to me on Discord, on Twitter. I love you guys. Can't wait to win a lot of money with you this year. I appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful night.